Welcome to Almost There, and today our guest is Rosie Gunn. Rosie Gunn is a British entrepreneur and founder of Endless, the UAE's leading circular fashion platform for women, offering rental and resale. After starting her career as a buyer at Marks & Spencer and launching Endless in the UK at 26, she moved to Dubai in 2023 to rebuild the brand. Today, Endless partners with 500 plus brands and has grown into a premium, purpose-driven alternative to fast fashion, redefining how women shop. Thank you for joining us, Rosie. First, I would like to tell you that I've been following you for a while, and I love how you've built a brand that is such a household name now, and also in such a materialistic city in Dubai. You've built a sustainable fashion brand. So, what inspired you to start Endless?
Thanks so much. That means so much. And thank you for having me.
Of course.
So how I started Endless was I was actually living in London. So this was quite a long time ago, pre-COVID. And rental didn't exist in the way it does now at all. It only was available for kind of prom dress shops or gala balls, and it was a very dated kind of way of shopping. And I genuinely wanted to shop in more sustainable and more conscious ways, but I couldn't afford to buy expensive clothes. I was only able to shop in like Zara or fast fashion brands. And so I thought, why can't it exist where I can wear a designer dress for like my brunch at the weekend, my date or work, and just pay the cost to rent it and send it back? And so that's kind of how it started. And then obviously the market has grown so much since then.
So were you one of the first ones?
Yeah, in the UK, and this was a really long time ago.
Yeah.
So there's been a bit of a journey, and I'm sure we'll get into it, of going through COVID, the ups and downs, closing it down and restarting again in Dubai from scratch. And the UAE is so much further behind other regions, and now it's really growing. But yeah, it was kind of like 7 years ago that I started.
Wow.
Yeah. And the other thing, that I just wasn't a thrifty shopper. And the only thing that was available was kind of thrift shops, charity shops. And to me, someone like me, that wasn't the same as shopping on like ASOS or Unat here at Net-a-Porter. And so I thought it would be a really cool thing to do to make shopping in more conscious ways relatable to girls like me by just creating a more circular way of shopping, but try to make the user experience exactly the same or very similar and as easy and as premium and luxe as Net-a-Porter, for example.
That's amazing. So how did you start in Dubai? When you came here, what was your aha moment that, okay, it's going to work in Dubai?
Well, I just knew that the market, I looked around, I was like, I can't believe that kind of even pre-loved fashion, like secondhand, like nothing was really a thing here. And then I noticed in all of the kind of expat Facebook groups that that's where all the girls were at, and they were selling clothes just on there. And it was, to me, that seemed so dated after being in the UK and London and the way that that had moved. Yeah. So I thought, the Dubai girls need this. They need rental.
But it's so true, because literally, you need a dress for every occasion, and somehow you can't wear the same dress because social media has seen it.
Exactly that. And so I was kind of like, wow, it doesn't exist in Dubai. It's the perfect market for it. Everyone cares so much about appearance, 100%. What they're wearing it, like, seem to be wearing designer clothes, and people have such a busy social life, whether it's work or personal. And so that's kind of how it started here. And I just thought, I actually wrote on the Facebook groups being like, hey guys, this is the business I had in the UK, what do you all think? And the girls went wild on there, and they were like, we need this here. I've got this in Australia, London, America, and we need it here. So then I kind of started again. So it's been a bit of a long journey to this point, and thanks for your kind words. I'm glad it's kind of coming to the point where
it is kind of like a household, because I actually knew it way before I actually knew you.
Really?
So so I knew the brand because I thought that, okay, maybe it would be better to like rent a dress for my birthday rather than like buying like a really expensive dress that I'm going to only wear once. I literally have so many dresses in my wardrobe that I wear once and then never see daylight again.
Every girl can relate to it. Even every guy can kind of relate to it through their girlfriends or wives. And it's just such a huge problem that we all have.
And they're expensive.
So expensive. And it just, now that rental exists in the way it does, it just everyone can see that it makes so much sense. But to start with, it was a bit of a tricky journey to get people on board with the idea. But it makes, to me, obviously, because that's why I run this business, it just makes so much sense from a kind of planet, sustainability, more sustainable, more conscious point of view, cost for you instead of buying a really expensive dress. And it's just more fun. I think you can experiment with your wardrobe. You can wear designers that you like can't afford normally. And I just think there's so much to me, it just makes sense in every single way.
So what were the mental challenges that your audience in Dubai have around that you had to get over?
Well, I feel like a lot of people who are kind of younger and expats are kind of accustomed to the idea, so they don't mind, and they know it's professionally dry cleaned and super hygienic. But I guess maybe there are a slightly different audience where they're still getting their head around that. But to be honest, I haven't found it with the growth and the community aspect. People, I think it's maybe at the beginning, and more so my journey with working with brands directly, they were unsure about it. But now there's been a whole journey where brands coming onto the platform can understand that you're reaching an audience that you wouldn't ordinarily be able to. And then they might end up loving your brand. And
what are the specific brands that you're having
so
far?
We kind of do a mix of cult brands, like Oceanus is on the platform. We do a lot of female founded smaller brands in Dubai, which is very important to me, and I think it's such a lovely way to kind of grow our community. And then it's just a mix of premium contemporary brands up to luxury as well. We don't have any fast fashion or that kind of thing on the platform, purely from our value standpoint, and we don't want to kind of contribute into that side of the market.
So tell me about one of your most emotional journeys while building Endless in Dubai.
Okay. I mean, there's just so much. Like, honestly, when people ask me this question, I don't know what to say, because the whole thing...
I'd love to know everything.
Emotional, like, as in mentally challenging.
Mentally challenging,
everything. Like, it is so hard. I can't even think of, like, one thing. Every day is just so hard. I think you just go through phases of setting it up from scratch, getting people, like, you know, so... You don't... I think maybe the biggest thing is you don't see the results straight away. And so you really are having to believe in yourself and believe in what you're doing, and like have the faith that it will pay off in the end. And I believe it always does. And
because literally you're doing something that a lot of girls or women have a dream of, like having a fashion brand or like related to fashion. And what's the biggest challenge that you faced while building it?
There's so many. So another one I think is personal challenge. Like, I think it really is overcoming those limiting beliefs, whether they're yours, someone else's, and really having that close introspection with yourself and finding, like, realizing that the only thing that's holding you back is your own limiting beliefs. And I believe that so much. The sky is the limit, and you are only holding yourself back. And
so what's
the
biggest mental challenge, limiting belief that you had?
I think... that's an interesting one. I mean, there's probably a lot. I think with the kind of investor side and being in male-dominated rooms where I felt like I maybe didn't belong there, or I felt so different to everyone else. And like, am I good enough? Like, I don't know everything. Like, am I worthy of being here? Like, probably deep down. I feel like that's been a huge thing that I've had to overcome over the 7 years, especially as I was quite young. I work in fashion. I feel like a lot of people didn't take me seriously on surface value. And I think that's something that I've had to really learn with myself, that it's okay to be feminine and a woman, and it's okay to look in this certain way. It's okay to not be corporate. And I think that's been something that I've now come to realize, that I had so much kind of feedback that was negative about me, like in different directions, and it was pulling me apart, and my confidence was like on the floor. And I think it's like the point that I just thought, fuck it, I'm just going to be me, and I'm just going to, like, there is so much beauty in that. I think when you do that and you let go of everything, and then you just roll with it and you're yourself, and then everything, it starts to flow.
So
does that make sense?
So do you think having your husband as one of the co-founders helps you with that confidence as well? I think so. I think it's that's another challenge, actually. I think it's about having the people so careful about, and this has been a long journey, having the right people around you who give you good energy, good intentions, truly support you, have your best interests at heart. And I think that is like a non-negotiable for me now. If there's anyone who shows signs of not having my back in a circle, like there cannot be there. So I want to ask you on that. So how do you think that your friends actually in the beginning supported you? Or like, it's just such a thing for me that I've been thinking that a lot of your friends don't really support you on your business journeys, which is so weird.
I think it is so weird, because you think, I've got all these friends, everyone's going to support me. And I think it really shows people's true colors, and people who I think I was quite naive to that. I just assumed I would support, like, as I would support my friends, I assumed everyone would support me too. But I think that really shows people's true intentions. And I think actually in the end it's a good thing. It shows you who should be in your life and maybe who shouldn't be in your life. And it ultimately comes back to like loving yourself and who you want around you. But I feel like that has been a big thing. I've lost so many friends along the way.
Yeah.
I've lost so many people who I thought were friends. But ultimately it's kind of made space for new people to come in, and I feel like, especially in Dubai, the women community is so strong. People
good.
are
We
so
find
supportive.
Yeah.
And I think that's something that's come out of this that was unexpected, and I'm so grateful for the women of Dubai, and I truly mean that.
You find so many women entrepreneurs that are so supportive of what you're doing. They're supporting your growth.
And I
That's
think
amazing.
people wouldn't think Dubai is like that. And it's really interesting that there is that really solid, strong network of people who you barely know who really back you.
Because people think everyone's superficial here.
Yeah, but they're not. Everyone's got there's a good energy thing going on in Dubai, for sure.
So what's the biggest challenge in Dubai, specific to Dubai, that you've dealt with?
I think, well, you know, it's all hard. I think getting new customers, like every element of it is hard. Getting new customers, getting my name out there. I think doing everything, actually financially, very hard, no matter where I've been. I think that's a big challenge, trying to make ends meet at the start, and is it going to work, the uncertainty. I did and I still do a few other jobs on the side, and growing the team. And I think that's a big thing, is like the financial anxiety, no matter what you're doing and what you're setting up, that it is uncertain and it is a risk, and that is a horrible anxiety to have, but it's part of it. And I think that's like probably the most challenging bit that people don't speak about, is like, can you just carry on with a smile on your face every day with this sick chronic anxiety on many levels? But I think, I'd say maybe to summarize it, it's having good people, good energy around you is like 101, the most important thing. The financial stress and overcoming that. And then I guess it's like building that it makes you build that really strong relationship with yourself and really get to know yourself and back yourself. So even when like nobody supports you, and I think that's been something along my journey, I felt like consistently supporting me, like maybe people have come here and there, but I think for me it's just really backing myself, no matter what anyone's thinking, saying, judging, etc. It's just like me and me every day. And I think if there's one thing to come out of it, I think that's a good thing.
So I want to go back to when you started Endless in UK. So can you tell me a little bit about how you started? What brought the idea to life?
So, it was like I said at the start. So it really was born out of my own wardrobe problems. So I was the consumer. I was so frustrated. I could only shop in fast fashion brands. I've always had expensive taste but no money, and I hate shopping in with fast fashion. Everything falls apart so quickly, makes you sweat, and everyone else is wearing the same thing. So I think it was really partly that, and I just knew that something better could exist. And it's kind of strange, but I just had this vision of the future, and I just have this really strong knowing that the next wave is like the net-a-porter will be circular fashion, and it's just making girls like you and me, making it so easy for us to shop in more conscious ways. I never wanted it to be preaching sustainability, telling people how they should be shopping, how they should be living their lives. I simply wanted it to be a platform where someone like me would love to shop on it, and it's as easy and a premium, and it just makes it so easy for the customer.
So did you get funding in the beginning, or did you start just bootstrapping it?
Bootstrapping, both times bootstrapping. Eventually in the UK we did get funding. So we built the business, bootstrapped it, got all the traction. It was doing so well. And then we got our managed to, after a really long time of a traumatic journey of being in my early 20s, fundraising for like the first time. It was really challenging on many levels. We finally managed to do it, and we were so happy. And then 2 weeks later, the whole of the UK went into lockdown for the pandemic. So then we were like, oh shit. Luckily we did it, so then we could continue, because otherwise I don't know if we would have done. And then we had to build the next phase of the business through the uncertainty of the ups and downs of lockdown, building a team remotely, and it was very challenging. But we did come out of the business and come out of the pandemic growing. So we managed to make a lot of progress through that time, but obviously with all the other kind of uncertainty anyway with a startup, that on top of it was definitely my biggest challenge. So we kind of there's so many reasons. I had a different co-founder then as well, and the competitors were doing more of like a slightly different model, peer-to-peer, so could grow during that time, and we were only working with the brands.
Yeah.
I also loved the UAE. My sister lives here, so I'd always come out here. And I just
everyone loves it
wanted
here.
to move.
Yeah.
So it made so much sense. I think it was like a fateful intervention. I believe in the universe, and I think it was just like it just happened. And I met Chris, who's my partner, and his brothers lived out here, and he wanted to move out here.
So it's not hopeless for dating here.
No, I'm sorry, I met him in the UK,
Okay,
and then we
mind.
moved out here very quickly. But it's not hopeless for dating here.
No, it's really not.
But the London is just as bad as here in terms of dating, as hard. But then we moved here together, and then he wasn't actually working with me as a co-founder when we first moved here. He was working at PwC. And then I was really getting going with it on my own, and obviously roped him into it because we lived together, and he loved it so much, and the parts of the business that he is so much better at than me.
Yeah. Like, what are the parts that he's better at, and what are the parts that you're better at?
We see it more as like he does the back end and I do the front end. So I am much better at doing kind of the vision, the brand, the team, and I've got the fashion industry background, so it kind of makes sense. And he really loves like AI automations, making the business as slick as we possibly can, operations, and that's his background. So it kind of naturally happened, but then he ended up leaving his job at PwC and joining me, and then that's when it all kind of properly started to kick off.
That's amazing. Do you think businesses need two founders? I feel like it's a lot easier.
Yeah, it's an interesting one. I think obviously, no matter who your co-founder is, you spend so much time together. It is a really intense relationship, whether they're a friend, a stranger at the start, your partner. And I think, it's hard. That relationship is so intense in every
Do you think it affects your personal relationship as well with him?
Yeah, I'd say so, because we're at this phase, we work all the time. Like, our relationship has definitely taken the back seat. Yeah. And it's just the time that it is right now. So but at the same time, it has been such a great support. We know each other so well. It makes your life more efficient. So I think no matter what you do, whether it's you on your own and you're clear about your vision and you've got, a team around you, I don't think it matters necessarily what you do, because every situation is so individual. But it is nice to have someone to kind of soundboard things, like check your sanity at times, because it's so all-consuming, and I think that's definitely helpful. But I don't think you necessarily need a co-founder unless, maybe there's a good team around that support and fill those gaps.
That's true.
Yeah, I just think the most important thing in general is having at least one person in your life who really supports you, whether they're your co-founder or not.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
So running a business in Dubai is really emotionally and mentally taxing.
Yeah.
So what are some practices that you do that keep you grounded?
So like I said before, I'm very introspective. So have done a lot of therapy throughout the whole journey. And I think without it, I don't know where I'd be. And I think that's really important, because everything is so busy, and it just it gives me that time to check in with myself. And I think that has helped so much. It's like an investment to myself. I don't really go out anymore that much. I don't socialize. I don't really drink as much as and party or anything. But the one thing that I will always do is that. And I think that money that I could have spent going out for brunches every weekend, doing that instead has been the best investment I'll ever make. And I think everybody needs to do that.
Yeah, therapy changes lives, really.
Really changes.
It's really changed my life as
Same.
well.
I think it's like a magical experience, but not always easy or therapeutic.
No, I remember in the beginning when I was in therapy, I would start crying and stuff as well.
Yeah, oh my gosh.
But I think once you go past it, you become a lot more.
Once you get through that initial really intense part, then I think it's such a great thing. It's not necessarily easier, but the journey of it, the outcome at the end is so worth it. That's a big one for me. I probably should do more exercise and things like that, but I'm getting to that. Almost there.
So talk to me a little bit more about being a leader. And so you started as a solopreneur.
Yeah.
Okay.
So kind of the team thing, about team. Yeah.
Okay.
So it was me to start with in Dubai. Chris joined, like I mentioned earlier. And then the first hire that we had was actually a virtual assistant. So she was based remotely overseas because we couldn't afford the Dubai salaries at the time. And there was just so much that I was doing in terms of a kind of admin, customer service, and approvals and things like that were just taking up all my time, from the moment I got up to the moment I went to sleep, and I couldn't.
Yeah.
I thought this isn't very good.
Helpful.
I'm not really doing anything
Yeah.
else. So that made sense. And she was a godsend, honestly. She was so amazing.
Was she in Philippines?
Yeah, worked so hard.
They're so amazing.
And she's still with us, and she's like the most valued member of the team because she's been there since the, like, even though we haven't physically been together, like really through the rocky road of everything that's gone on. And I hope that one day she is able to come here and maybe relocate here. That would be my dream because I love her so much. She's saved so much of my, like, been such a valuable asset to the team.
They're so hardworking and so creative.
Honestly, she is great. I'll give her a shout out, Loney.
Oh, that's sweet.
And so she was the first hire, and then as we grew, we wanted to have more of a team here. It made more sense, and now we've got an office very, very recently.
Yes.
And building the team together and in person is obviously really great, but she's still a huge part of the team remotely.
Oh, that's
and
sweet.
yeah, it's really cute.
So once you hired her, what were you doing with the rest of your time that you had now freed up?
So a lot of it was kind of build it. God, it's hard to think because there's just so much. Finding brand partners, getting new, like anything to do like marketing, getting more people on the platform. The kind of tech side of the platform was quite, and still is to a degree, quite like rocky and dated, where we've not been able to spend too much money on particularly like the back end. Mm-hmm. So it's kind of really building out the foundations to scale, like the operations, the getting more customers on board, new brand partners. And the other thing that I had been working on a lot was trying to get some investment for the business, which is probably the most emotionally taxing and draining part, as there's so much rejection and so many meetings that go on for kind of months, years even, that don't necessarily come to anything. And I think that's a huge other thing that I'm passionate about, because that part of my journey has been so hard, and it's statistically so much more difficult for women generally. So it's not just me, I'm not alone, but that part of it has been extremely hard, finding the right connections and like reaching out to people completely cold and getting that going. So that's also taken up a lot of my time. But there's just so many parts to the business, like it's hard to summarize what takes up my time because it's just like every single thing.
So who's in your team now?
So we have a team, we've got kind of 2 people doing marketing, social media, so that's great.
Very important.
Yeah. We have Chris, obviously my co-founder. We've just got someone who's kind of his right-hand woman, so someone helping us on the operations side.
Of course.
Have someone who does customer service and all of that kind of stuff. And then we also have actually someone who does community. So that's become such a huge part.
I've seen that.
Yeah.
So you're doing community events now.
Yes.
Do you think it's such a difference? Because even from your remote team, you've brought them now in person. Do you think it's such a difference?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
The team has kind of grown a lot more since we've had the office. So it was the right time to get one. We didn't really need one before.
Yeah.
We were working remotely and meeting up and stuff. But yeah, having everyone together, there's such a nice culture. And I think that's so important.
It's such a milestone in a business to get an office.
Yeah. I'm like, finally.
So you really think it's a difference?
Yeah. And I just love being around the team. Like everyone in the team is like good energy. And I think I've always kind of dreamt of having a team where everyone genuinely loves going to work. I feel like that's such a big thing. Like I used to go to work and it was cold on the tube and you'd be so like anxious the Sunday night and thinking, you know, almost dreading work.
Scaries.
Yeah. And like in a big way, although I did love my job to a degree. I do think I've always just wanted to create this lovely culture for women where everyone feels empowered to do their role and they're happy. And as much as I can within the realms that I can control and get on with each other. And I think that's the thing. Every person that I've hired on the team, the one thing that's so important to me is, well, yeah, they work hard, they're kind, and they've got good energy. And I think that just like grows tenfold in the business and out of the business too.
That's so important.
Yeah, that's the big one. But yeah, sorry, just to go back on community, that has become a huge part of the business that we didn't plan for. We didn't realize that all of these kind of community events would be so valuable. And that was never part of the plan.
People love community events in Dubai.
Yeah.
People love to meet up.
And it is so nice. That's like my favorite
it's
part.
hard. It's hard to plan stuff here.
Yeah.
I feel, because you just have so many friends.
Yeah.
Like so many like acquaintances.
Yeah.
That you can't really
see everyone.
Yeah.
So they come together and it's just such a beautiful thing that's created. Like I didn't plan for it. I don't really feel like I had any control over it, but it was like a lovely thing that happened. So we're putting a lot of energy into that side of the business, which I care about actually more than just kind of clothes and outfits.
How many events have you had so far?
Oh my gosh, I'm not sure. I don't know. We're trying to do at least one big one a month, but then every other week we have free community events like kite beach yoga, things like that. So anyone can come, you don't have to pay. And we've done such a kind of combination of things. So they're all on our website. We keep everyone posted, and they're just becoming such a regular thing within the business.
So you're really enjoying those?
Love them.
That's amazing. I need to join one of them.
Yeah, please
really.
do. Actually, oh no, this won't show in time. We've got one on Friday if you want to come.
Maybe. I think I saw it on your story. Maybe I might
If
stop
you're
by. So what advice would you give to someone who feels stuck between following their passion or playing it safe?
I would say definitely don't play it safe. There is no room for that in this life. I know it's such a cliche thing to say, but you genuinely only live once. The sky is truly the limit. No matter what you do, even if it's so hard, financially, like mentally, which I have personally found myself, if you love it and you care about it and it's something in your heart and that you're passionate about, that you want to do every day, that will drive you so much further and your life will be so much more fulfilling, and you genuinely only live once, so why not?
Yeah. But what if somebody wants to start something in fashion? Because a lot of women have that dream of like starting a fashion brand. Yeah. What advice would you give to them if you've seen like in the market for Dubai?
It really depends. I think it starts with asking yourself, do you truly want that? Like, what is it about that thing that you want? Because it's not as easy as it seems.
No.
Maybe you do want to work in fashion and you want to have a job where you feel so fulfilled and you're in the right culture, and you start, and maybe the right thing is actually to work in a business where the leader cares so much about the people and you're getting that out of that role without the kind of stress and anxiety of, you know, the financial side. There's a lot of stress that comes with it, with team and finding the right people and HR, and you do really have to. It is very consuming.
Hard. It is. Yeah. It really is. So what's your vision for Endless? Like, do you vision like a really big team, like 50 plus people?
I hope so in the future. I guess I'd love to have an amazing team. And as the company grows, I definitely want it to be the leading platform in the UAE and also beyond, and whatever the team size is to support that. But
so has your vision, when you first started Endless,
Yeah.
was your vision the same as it's coming out to be now?
I think so, yeah.
That's amazing.
But there has been journeys where it hasn't looked like that and then it's gone up and down. But I feel like the vision part is the bit that's so clear in my mind of where I want it to be.
I think that's very important.
Thanks. I think so too.
So if you could go back to the version of yourself right before launching Endless, what would you say?
Awful times.
Yeah?
I'd say
Tell me about
buckle up. I'd really buckle up. Like, honestly, I don't know. There's no way I had any idea what this journey would look like.
Yeah.
But it's for the best, and I wouldn't have done it if I knew how bad it was hard it was going to be, but so rewarding at the same time. I think there's so much I'd say to myself, and I think one of them would be like, don't be afraid to just be yourself. I think that's something I've really battled with, where I had so much criticism from all different angles and judgment, and I felt like I didn't really belong. And I think it was like, actually the beauty in the end is truly just being myself and not really caring what anyone thinks, or if they don't support me, and just go for it and listen to your intuition more. I think your gut feeling is way more valuable than anything else. And I think now I kind of mostly just go by gut feeling and intuition, and I think that proves me to be right. And if I don't listen to it, it always comes back to haunt me. And so that's a big one, actually. That took me a while to work out. I'd also say surround yourself with good energy people, and don't let anyone in who doesn't give you that.
That's so true. So I also had another question. Yeah. So you ran a business in UK, and then you're running one in Dubai now. So what's the difference between the audiences that you're dealing with?
So the UK, we closed it down. So it was like pretty much the same business. It was like, it was so similar. The audience was very similar, but just kind of London, UK based. Okay. And then closed it down, restarted. It's pretty much the same business, but it's evolved for the better in different ways, and like new logo and new branding. There's some slight differences to it, but on the whole it's pretty similar, and a pretty similar audience. So women in their 20s, 30s and 40s and beyond. Yeah. We have younger than that, older than that, and people who just are cool, confident, kind, and they care.
Is it easier to run a business in Dubai, or was it easier in the UK?
It's really hard to compare because we had kind of COVID and the lockdown in UK, so that obviously was a much bigger challenge, but maybe easier in Dubai. I feel like there's a lot more opportunities.
100%.
It feels like limitless energy really in a way.
Yeah, because tomorrow you can meet a celebrity or like an influencer, and suddenly they change your life, like kind of like it's just so random here.
It's so true. And I feel like that whole thing about people and energy, I feel like that helps a lot when you have a business, and people being so supportive and energy, that side of it's helpful. There's a lot of things like business wise, like we can do same day delivery here so easily, where in the UK that was very expensive and difficult to do. So there's quite a few like smaller details which make it easier here, but I feel like on the whole the energy flows in Dubai. I
think even for big opportunities for brands, for other people, it just feels that it's very approachable.
Yeah.
Everyone's very approachable.
I feel like everyone here has like the abundance mindset a lot more than in London, for example, which I feel like can be the opposite. Yeah. And I think that kind of is quite infectious.
So when you first started, what was your perception of success, and what's your perception of success now?
You know, success is so many things. I think for me right now, my success would be achieving what I set out to at the start. So like 7 years ago, what I wanted to do for that to come into fruition with this vision I have in my head, I would feel like that is success. But then beyond that, I do think success once I've done that is having that balance of kind of family, joy, happiness, time for you, travel, everything that you enjoy, as well as having that. But for me right now, that's like my main goal. And I'll feel like I will have achieved what I wanted to do. For me, that will be a big part of I'll feel like I've hopefully at that point will feel like I've met success. I don't know.
That's good.
Probably not.
So one thing that actually I wanted to bring up is that I saw recently on your Instagram is that a really big company stole your idea.
Yeah.
And now they have a lot more funding than you.
Well, it's a big company who have a fund. So for, like I mentioned earlier, for anyone trying to fundraise for their business, it's really tough out there, and especially for women, statistically and in reality. And this is a fund that I applied for, which is a very legitimate company. And they have taken the kind of everything of the information in our deck and confidential information and kind of ran it as their marketing campaign. So that was obviously not great. Got in touch with them, and then the person who runs the fund has blocked me on LinkedIn, so I can't communicate with them. They haven't got back to me. So there's a bit of a case that's slightly annoying, disheartening after putting all my life and soul into it and all of these challenges for someone with a much bigger budget to kind of rip it off and do it as their own. But, you know, I know I'm not alone in this whole topic. Since I've started speaking about it, so many other founders and small business owners, designers have messaged me saying this has happened to them. And it's just in this position, you don't have loads of money to spend on legal fees and doing the right thing. So you truly do feel so powerless. And all of that hard work that you put your heart and soul into just gets kind of, it's like used, and it's just, to me, that just doesn't feel right. And I really do care about integrity. So if it was, you know, a different conversation, but I feel like the response hasn't been very professional, blocking me, not cool.
Yeah, exactly. And it's a really big company as well.
Yeah, and it's a real shame. But, you know, what's come from it is the community and everyone who does know about us on the much smaller scale than them is truly backing us and thinks it's
Has it affected you in any way so far?
I think so much stuff happens that's challenging that I really try to keep as neutral as possible. Like if something good happens, something bad happens, I try to just keep my balance, because I've learned the hard way that things can really impact you, and it's just not worth it.
How do you do that?
I don't know. I think it's over a long time. I've just managed to like try and stay as balanced and neutral as I possibly can. Maybe therapy helps with it. I don't know. But I do think I try my hardest
not to get into your head.
Because I think there's been times where something good happens. I'm like so excited. Then there's like such a high and low, and I just think it gets exhausting.
But it's so true, because I'm the same way. I used to be the same way, where I used to get really excited, and then a client said this. Oh, I'm really down now. Worse. And then now I'm just quite like neutral, but like just with everything though.
Yeah. No. I don't know if I've got numb to it.
Yeah, exactly. I think so, but I don't know if that's great.
No, I think it's good to, I think that's what is a good thing, to stay as neutral and balanced as possible. So I'm trying not to let it impact me. And everyone's like, it's just nice to, I guess it's like, you know, everything has pros and cons. Great to see so much support and people backing us and like understanding. And it's nice to give this whole topic a bit more of a voice, because I knew about it, but so many people have messaged me saying this has happened to them. It's such a big problem. I wish that we could give all of these people a much bigger voice, because what can you do? You can't pay for the legal fees. And then as a result, you kind of get exploited by a much bigger company, and it's just that, to me, that is just so wrong. Whether it's me, someone else, I just don't think that's okay.
No, I know another influencer that I was following for a while, and she had her fashion brand called Sla the Label.
Okay.
And and she had to shut down recently because of these kind of issues where her designs got stolen by fast fashion, and then she had like legal battles, and she spent so much money And then I think she just
had to close down.
Yeah.
Awful. That's, yeah. I mean, I've had a lot of messages from people in a similar situation with fast fashion brands copying their designs that they've, put their whole life savings into, spent years working on it. And that, to me, is just not right. And it is such a big issue. So if anyone out there can help with this issue and how we solve it, love to know, because to me, it doesn't feel right. And I'll do anything I can, not just for me, but for any other female founder out there who faces this, because it's just not, it's not right.
Do you think that will have an impact on your business in Dubai?
I really don't know how it's going to pan out. Like, I do believe still that I'm going to find a way to stop it. Like, I just have to stay true to myself. Like, I've put my whole life into this business. For someone to do that, it's just wrong. And I do have this tendency to, like, not stop until I get what I think is right.
Yeah.
And I don't know, we're working on it. It's a bit of a timely process. Some people have come from the community so beautifully to offer legal for free.
Oh, that's
so
amazing.
we're kind of working on what we can do. But regardless of legal battle, it's like integrity. I feel like bigger companies have a responsibility to do the right thing.
I couldn't imagine that. When you posted that, I was so shocked.
Yeah, it's like not cool. That's all I would say.
Because I thought maybe you have to make them sign an NDA or something.
Yeah, it's just a funny world out there. Sometimes you can submit them and there's no NDA involved. So it's like a bit of a trust thing. And I would argue that trust and integrity should always win and people should do the right thing, but not everybody is the same. Yeah. So we'll see how it pans out. But I really hope something good comes from it. And I do, whatever that is, I do like to see the good and the bad where we can, and I hope something positive comes from it. But I'm gonna try really hard. It's been a bit draining. I was on holiday when it happened. My one holiday I've had in like 2 years, but that's just the way it is.
So before we end, can you tell me a little bit more about what's in the pipeline for you?
We have so many cool things in the pipeline. We have some amazing partnerships, some amazing community events coming up, particularly between now and the end of the year. So much for our community, trips, big things coming up, so definitely stay tuned. We also are kind of looking at doing a physical store, which will be very cool.
So exciting.
So many of the girls want to come down and try everything on. Yeah. So that's a big one for us that we're trying to work out how to do that in the best way. So that's kind of in the pipeline. And then we have kind of where I've mentioned our tech platform isn't as good as it could be. That's having a whole rehaul. So that will start to go live between now and the end of the year. But then next year that will really come into play. So we have loads of exciting stuff happening.
That sounds super exciting. I'm really looking forward to all of the things I'll be keeping up. Thank you so much for joining us and having this conversation with us.
Thanks so much for having me. I've loved chatting to you.